Colin, yesterday you asked me what is the greatest movie ever, and that's impossible to say. There are so many good ones, but I tried to limit my thinking so I didn't completely overthink this, and I think I got it. And in addition to that, I composed a kind of a top 5 list, in addition to the one. So I've actually got 6 movies on my list. So let's start with the top 5 list, and we'll get into my greatest movie at the end. So the genres I chose for my top 5, I wanted to keep them all different. So I chose comedy, action, movies that make you think, kind of like Inception. Inception's not the movie though, but movies like that. Scary movies like horror, thriller. I'm not a big fan of those, so I mean mine might be a little off. And then my 5th category was going to be animation, but then I started thinking about all the animated movies, primarily Pixar, and I was just like, I love them all. I can't choose. So the 5th one is just kind of a movie that's, I guess I could call it like old school movies. It's not like classic, but like older movies. So as I said, I tried not to think too hard and overthink this. So for comedy, I went with Step Brothers. This is a Will Ferrell movie. I forget the other guy's name. John C. Reilly, that's his name. Those two guys are brothers in a conjoining house, even though they're like both 40, and it's just hysterical. I really like the movie. It makes me laugh every time I watch it, like no matter if it's like the 3rd time or if it's like the 10th time. So that's why I chose it. For action movie, I decided to go with Edge of Tomorrow. It's a Tom Cruise movie, and he kind of like redoes time when he dies, so he can constantly redo the same day over and over again until he gets it perfect, and he ends up winning a war against these aliens. It's very cool if you like time travel type movies and kind of like space battle movies. The 3rd category is movies that make you think. I know this isn't a very good category, but I like these types of movies. For example, Inception. Although Inception is not the one that I chose, it's just primarily the one that everybody thinks of. The film I did choose for this category is Source Code. I believe the actor's name is Jake Gyllenhaal, who's in this. And it's similar to Edge of Tomorrow, where it's like he dies and then he goes back and redoes the day, but it's only 7 minutes from when he died. It takes place like on a train, and he's got to like stop a bomb that's gonna go off on the train. It's really interesting, and the ending makes you be like, whoa, shit, dude, now I need to rewatch this movie because it's just like, ah! Next up is my scary movies. Now, I don't really like scary movies, so this is kind of like difficult for me, but I wanted to pick this category because a lot of people like scary movies. Now, I chose Cabin in the Woods. It's not like the scariest movie in the world, but I really liked it because it was a big twist on like the classic, like, oh, kids are in the cabin in the woods, you know, as the title goes, and then there's something that needs to kill them. There's a big twist on it, and it really, again, it makes you think. So I guess what I'm trying to say is I like movies that make you think and, I don't know, challenge you a little bit. So this 5th category was originally animation, but then I changed it to, well, I picked the movie and then I kind of applied this title to it. I went with kind of old movies. And this movie, or movies, is Back to the Future. I love this series. I watched it a handful of times. If I had to pick the one that I liked the most, I would probably go with Back to the Future 2. That one, you go to the future and into the past. I did not like the 3rd one. I didn't like the whole Western thing that they tried to do. Just wasn't me. And then for the question of the day, Colin, what is the #1 movie, best movie, quote, whatever thing you were saying before? I'm going with Guardians of the Galaxy. I love this movie. I love all of the Marvel superhero movies. This one was no exception. I loved it. I love the space travel element. Chris Pratt is so funny. Groot, he made me laugh every time he fucking spoke. It's just a great movie all around, and I mean, I didn't put a lot of thought into this list because I didn't want to overthink it, but I love that movie, and all of these movies are really great. I mean, I would probably watch them all, you know, at least a handful of times, except for maybe Cabin in the Woods, because like I said, I'm not that big into scary movies, but that one was one that I could tolerate. Now, Colin, getting back to your topic from the other day, you were talking about books that you liked or wanted me to read. You suggested Life of Pi. Dude, I was in your English class. I read that book with you. And the other book you suggested was Aragon. And I've heard of this, but as a movie. So that's basically what I wanted to get into for your question of the day. How do you feel about books becoming movies? Like, do you think it's a bad idea? Do you like this idea? Do you think that they enhance the book? Do you think they destroy the book? Like, I don't know. What are your views on it? Also, do you think it's the way the movies are developed? Like, do you think it's the director that makes the good or bad movie, and that determines if in turn the book be made into the movie was a success or not? Like this Aragon movie, it got a 16% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is very bad. Comparatively, Life of Pi got an 87%, which is very good. So, I mean, they were both books, both made into movies. One was really good and one was really bad. Also, the other book we mentioned briefly was Percy Jackson. That one, as a movie, there was actually two of them, I believe. They got about 49%. So that one was right in the middle of these, 16 and 89%. Comparatively, Harry Potter across the board has gotten between 80 and 90%. So there's that to consider. In addition to the books versus movies, I know this is kind of a long question type conversation piece thing, but what do you feel is the superior way to tell a story? Books or movies? Or are you like me and you vote neither? If you want my opinion, I go with video games. I personally think that they are the best of the three. I don't know if there is a fourth thing or not, but yeah, that's all I can think of. And I would go with a video game. Colin, the game we've been playing, Life is Strange, on the PS4, I personally feel like this is the next step in entertainment storytelling. Like, it's essentially a TV show, but in the form of a video game, so you can experience exactly what you want. You can have it be, you just fly through the story points, or you can talk to everyone and get really, really in depth. It's completely up to the viewer. And I've seen that people want things where it could be manipulated like that. I've seen things where it's like, oh, I wish there was a movie where I could choose this ending for the movie, or I can watch it again and choose this ending. Dude, that's a video game. That's what you do in games. And exactly in Life of Strange, you pick a scenario. Oh, do I shoot this guy or do I drop my gun? It's big scenarios. So, that was a pretty long question topic thing. I'm sure you could pick something out of there for your next video. That being said, that's all I've got today, and I am Groot.